Greetings, campers. Welcome to the world according to Yoni. I am your host, as always, Yoni Martin. If you're into progressive politics, the entertainment industry, including film, television, theater, music, comedy, and other topics such as sexual freedom, mental health, you've come to the right place. If that's not anything you're into, I have no idea what the hell you're doing here. But welcome anyway. Stay. Maybe you'll enjoy something. If anybody feels bad about missing my special Labor Day show or last week's show, please don't feel bad. I missed them too. Problem was, I was, and probably to some degree still am, sick, and not in the way some of you think. I have had the worst series of migraines of my life. I have been a migraine sufferer for a number of years now, but over the past few weeks, it has been sheer unmitigated torture. In the midst of this, I had a COVID test, which thankfully came back negative, although I'm not 100% sure I trust their findings. I went to see the neurologist and had a shot, something that's supposed to last 2 to 3 months, but here's the fun part. It's not supposed to take effect for a month, so I still have to suffer with these, and it turns out that the medication that they put me on, I can only take once or twice a week because I take medicine for high blood pressure, and they don't mix and could give me a stroke. So it was nice to find that out after a number of years of taking this medication. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. I don't even know where to begin. The last 2 weeks have been so unbelievably hellish. I mean, first we had the revelations in Bob Woodward's book, which were frightening enough, but a couple of days ago, we lost Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know if any of us can really see that as a surprise, given how that woman has been fighting for her life and fighting to stay on the Supreme Court. But let's face it, the illnesses took their toll. And even so, Justice Ginsburg went out fighting, saying that she did not want to be replaced by selection made by His Royal Highness Der Fuhrer, Mr. Twitler. And this is something that, I'm sorry, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, all you motherfucking Republicans brought upon yourselves. If Mr. McConnell, due to his racism and incredibly huge desire for power, did not allow President Obama to make a choice, or to at least have his choice for a Supreme Court justice brought to the Senate for hearings when the man had 10 months left in his presidential life, how in God's name can he justify doing it now when Twitler has, 45 days left? It's criminal. And while the Constitution gives the president the right to choose, Mr. McConnell took that away from President Obama, and personally I believe that the Democrats should now take that choice away from Mr. McConnell. Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, who is maybe one of the biggest hypocrites this planet has ever seen, is there on tape saying, if this is to happen, even if it's a Republican, hold me to what I'm saying now. The president doesn't get to make a choice. Okay, Miss Lindsey, you don't get to make a choice. The people do, after we vote for the president. If you're so sure that Mr. Twitler is going to receive another term, then what's the harm in waiting till after the election, huh? But of course, you guys are afraid. Why, Miss Lindsey, you might not even be in the Senate come January. Wouldn't that be a shame? Unfucking-believable. Now, as I was saying, also, beyond our loss of Justice Ginsburg, the revelations of Bob Woodward's book were just frightening to behold. I mean, come on. This is beyond sane. This is beyond rational. You have Twitler on tape saying one thing, and then he goes to his open air and closed air maskless rallies because, you know, it's unfair that maggots should have to wear masks like the rest of us because we don't want to get each other sick. He can go in front of these people and tell them, oh, you know what you heard me say on those tapes to Bob Woodward? You didn't hear me say that. What I said on video to you in March and April, that's what you heard, not the other part, contradicting myself. That was never said. We, my friends, are living in bizarro land. I mean, it's upside down world. One thing said, another thing said, who the fuck knows what's real anymore? I mean, my head is spinning. How about yours? I'm perplexed. I just don't understand some of this stuff. So maybe if you can explain it to me, we'll all learn something, because I just don't know. Something else I wanted to talk about. Obviously, because the vast majority of shows that have been produced so far, even when I'm talking to people in the entertainment industry, whether it be my theatrical friends like Joe Doyle or my television and movie friends like Jody Hamilton and Michael DeGaetano, whoever, the topic has been politics because, well, it is, you know, that's just the way it is. Here's the thing. Most people think I live and breathe politics. And the truth is, I fucking hate politics. I loathe politics. Now, if you don't understand that, it's perfectly understandable why you wouldn't. I mean, until I explained it to her, even my wife thought I lived and breathed politics. But no, the truth is I don't. I think it's a dirty business. If you come into politics with some degree of morality, that's as a candidate. If you come in with some degree of morality, at some point, you are going to have to sell your beliefs out. That's just the way it is. That is survival. And until we do away with things like the Electoral College, or maybe put term limits on congressmen and senators and take money out of politics, that's the way it's going to be. People will be like Mitch McConnell, power mad. People will be like Lindsey Graham, hypocritical assholes. People will be like Senator Rand fucking Paul, who, as a member of the Tea Party, is all for the destruction of our political system. So, of course, naturally, if you're against our political system, you get elected to our political system so you can destroy it from within. And that's what half the Republicans in the House of Representatives and the Senate have been trying to do for a number of years now. So how could I possibly have any real love of politics? I don't. But here's the thing. They're a necessary evil. And I don't even know if evil is the right way to phrase it. Everything we do is about politics. Everything we're living at the moment, especially, has to do with politics. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a director. I'm a sometime musician. Look, it's my drums and my guitars over here. But I can't play those now for anybody but me, or with anybody but me. I can't act. I can write. I can't direct anything. The only outlet I have for my creativity, such as it is this video podcast. So if you're watching or listening, this is it. This is what I've got. Why is that? Well, let's see. Because we have a deadly pandemic, which our politicians, and by our politicians, I'm sorry, our Republican politicians have done nothing to stop, nothing to curb. The Democrats have tried, but the Democrats are the minority. So they're relatively powerless at the moment, as has been proven by the impeachment hearings and the fact that this past May, the Democrats in the House passed a relief bill that is still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk because the son of a bitch refuses to bring it in front of the Senate. No, he has other priorities. Putting judges on the Supreme Court and throughout the federal bench that will all be right-wing tools who will do whatever Trump or McConnell want. Oh, I'm sorry, I left out Bill Barr. How could I forget our criminal attorney general? Yeah, it's not about the law anymore. It's about politicians. It's what they want. Because the politicians aren't working on behalf of the people, certainly not the Republican politicians. A few of the Democrats are not either, but, you know, I won't name any names, Joe Manchin. It's a dirty, dirty game. And I really, really can't stand it. But what's my choice? To not get involved? To not work for the betterment of the planet? The people of this country? Because those are the choices right now. Either I get involved and I work through the political system we have, or I sit on my ass and do nothing. And that is not acceptable. It can't be. I mean, there are too many lives at stake. My life is at stake. My wife's, my daughter's, my family's. You know, it just doesn't work. So that, my friends, is why I talk politics so much. And after this election, I am hopefully looking forward to being able to spend much more time talking about the things that matter to me. Things like the entertainment industry, things like sexual freedom, things like mental health, things like sexual abuse, of which I am a survivor. So I'd rather talk about that. But until such time as I feel this country and its democracy is safe, I have to be involved with politics. I have to talk politics. There's no choice. Now that I've said all that, at this point I would usually bring on my guest, but of course nothing has been working the way I thought it would work the past few weeks. So I had a guest scheduled for this week, my friend Debrianna Mancini, who is a wonderful actress, political activist, and the co-host of the YouTube sensation, The Corona Kitchen. Unfortunately, we had technical glitches, so you will have to wait another week to see Debrianna. Sorry, it's just me tonight. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I thought was wonderful and positive now, because with all the shit, we should have something happy and joyous and wonderful to talk about. And I'm going to do that right now. A week and a half or so ago, the living cast of the film The Princess Bride reunited to do a reading on Zoom to benefit the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. Every living member, save one, of the original cast returned to do this reading and the follow-up question answer, which, for my money, was as good, if not better, than the reading. However, the reading itself was abso-fucking-lutely amazing. I mean, you had Carrie Elways, who we have to thank, because Carrie Elways is the one who went to the head of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin with the idea. and made it happen. So bravo to Cary Elwes, and also the fact the guy looks the same as he did when he shot the movie 37 years ago. How does he do that? It was amazing, and the reading was amazing. Rob Reiner, sitting in as the grandfather for the late Peter Falk, was wonderful. You had Robin Wright. You had, you had Mandy Patinkin. Oh my God. Watching Mandy Patinkin do Inigo Montoya 37 years later with every bit of flair and fun that he put into it in the original film was amazing. Josh Gad, who did an amazing job filling in as Fezzik for the late Andre the Giant, was terrific. But then you had the Chris's, Sarandon and Guest, who were remarkable. They were wonderful. You had, well, I mean, come on. Billy Crystal and Carol Kane are every bit as hysterically funny now as they were in the film then. And they're still improvising. I mean, it was amazing. A wonderful time was had by all. They raised a lot of money for the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, and they gave a gift to every fan of The Princess Bride. It was an amazing night, and I just wanted to thank everybody involved in it. If you missed it, I'm really sorry you did, because it was an amazing time. And now that I've gotten the fun and good stuff out of the way, it's time to go for my asshole of the week. Only this time, it's my assholes of the week, because I want to talk about an entire group of them. I refer to the so-called liberal media. If I have to hear one more person talk about the liberal press or the liberal media in this country, I am either going to slam their head through the wall or my own, because it's a lie. It doesn't fucking exist. Yes, we have a few outlets. We have some wonderful people on MSNBC. We have Joy Reid, we have Chris Hayes, Rachel Maddow, and Lawrence O'Donnell. These people are gifts, but they're the rarity. And on radio, we also have some liberal gifts. We have the Stephanie Miller Show. We have John Fugelsang. We have Dean Obeidallah. We have Bill Press still out there, Randy Rhodes. But that's the vast minority, folks. The majority of the media in this country is owned by mega corporations. Conservative mega corporations. Why are they conservative? Well, because there's a lot of money in playing to the conservative base. It's that simple. And I'm not even talking about Fox News. I'm talking, and put quotes around news when it comes to Fox, because let's face it, they ain't the news. And their talking heads like Mr. Hannity are just walking, talking excuses for mandatory euthanasia. So let's be real. And here's a question. How is Rush Limbaugh still alive? When you figure that one out, let me know, because this guy should have been out of here years ago. And it certainly would have been a gift to the rest of us, but hey, you know, I have no say in things like that. But even more so, I'm going to talk about the mainstream press. The Washington Post, which gives us false equivalency gods like Philip Rucker, or the New York Times with Maggie Haberman. These are people who, from 2016 on, have, in order to not be labeled liberal media, pretended, and I mean this, they pretend to be nonpartisan by leaning to the right and being partisan in favor of the Republicans, so nobody can accuse them of being in favor of the Democrats, which they're accused of anyway. So why do they do what they do? Why did in 2016 we hear all about Hillary's emails and Benghazi, but we heard very little about Trump University, the Central Park Five, or any of the criminality that has followed Donald Trump throughout his entire life? He is a criminal. He was a criminal 30 years ago. He is still a criminal now. Only he has Bill Barr fronting for him and protecting him. And McConnell in the Senate protecting him. And what does the media do? Well, CNN goes, gosh, I don't know, what should we do? Maybe we'll say a little bit about how he lies, but maybe we won't. And maybe we'll put him on because, hey, he's the president, even if he stole the goddamn Post or had Russia steal it for him. But there's no honesty. There's no real journalism being done by the Times. Washington Post. All right, Washington Post. They accounted for 20,000 lies that Trump told in the first, I believe, 3 years of his presidency. And I forgive me for even putting those two words in the same sentence, because it's really Vlad Putin's presidency. But what are the lies? How about breaking them down? How about talking about them every single day, because every time that motherfucker opens his mouth, he lies. And with the exception of our heroes on MSNBC and the few liberal radio TV outlets we have, it's not being talked about. Or we're getting people like Chuckles Toad on MSNBC, or the Washington Post genius, what the fuck his name, Philip Rucker, who are kings of false equivalency. You know, both sides do it. No, both sides don't do it. And it's about time you, as journalists, did your fucking jobs. I mean, I'm not a journalist. I'm a freaking actor and writer and director. But I know a little something about journalism because I read. And I know that journalists are supposed to ask questions, probing questions. They are not supposed to accept at face value whatever some asshole politician tells them. They are supposed to question everything. And they don't. What was it? 2 weeks ago? The first time I ever heard a member of the White House press corps say to Donald Trump's face, "You lied. Why should the American people believe you now? Because you lied to us." Yeah, he's lied to us. Since the day he came down the escalator at Trump Tower in New York City, that man has done nothing but lie. And have they called him on it? Have they gone after him? Have they crucified him for it, like they crucified Hillary Clinton for her fucking emails? I mean, can I point out that for all the lock her up that was done, let's see, Ivanka did the emails in the White House on her personal account, Jared did, I don't know how many of them did, but they know this and they're not hammering it home. But with Hillary Clinton, oh, that had to be hammered home, much more so than Donald Trump's criminality. So yeah, my assholes of the week are the mainstream media, because they're not doing their job. And without them doing their job, the people of this country are not being informed the way they have a right to be. A free press is critical to a democracy. Well, gosh, Donald Trump the other day bragged and congratulated his SS troops in Portland for, well, what they did was they shot MSNBC reporter Ali Velshi with a rubber bullet. But Trump didn't even get that right. He didn't even know how they hurt Mr. Velshi. But they did, even though he's a member of the press, and they knew he was a member of the press. They didn't care. And he's one of the members of the press who was actually trying to do his job. So doesn't it just figure? If this situation doesn't improve, which means if we do not elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in November, kiss our democracy goodbye, because the press isn't doing a hell of a lot to help us. And certainly our Republican government is doing less than nothing to help us. I mean, folks, 200,000 plus Americans have died now from a pandemic that could have been stopped in its tracks if we had done what other countries did. Not other countries like Russia, because they didn't do shit either. Why do we want to emulate Russia or North Korea? Or for that matter, Boris Johnson's version of Great Britain? How about we do things like, oh, I don't know, mimic New Zealand or Canada? They're doing much better than we are. Why? Because the politicians there care. Their leadership showed leadership. Ours showed none. And our press didn't demand it of them. So even when the Democrats did their best, and even their best falls short a lot of the time because they seem to be lovers, not fighters. And really what we need right now are fighters. So it's up to you, it's up to me. And it brings me back all the way around to this is why we're talking politics. Because if we don't, we turn into Germany circa 1933. And if you don't understand that, please read Sinclair Lewis's 1934 masterpiece, It Can't Happen Here. I know I've said that before. I'm saying it again. Read it. Because the truth is, it can happen here. It is happening here as I speak. And only we the people can do something to change that. Anyway, that's my fun show for today. Hopefully you'll join me next week and we'll have a much more fun and uplifting show. We'll be telling jokes and having fun, and there'll be comedy and a guest. And I won't have to sit here with a migraine and sweat trickling down my brow, hoping I can get through the show. But thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you like the show, tell your friends about it. I am on YouTube or all your major podcast channels, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. I'm supposed to be on iHeartRadio soon, if I'm not already there. And I received a message this week that I'm now on Amazon Podcasts. So there you go. And if you're a reader, you can go read my blog, which actually has some things other than politics on it. You can find that at Yoni Martin, spelled MARTEN, .wordpress.com. So that's the show. Thank you for being here, and I really do hope to see you next week. In the meantime, stay safe and stay sane. Bye-bye.